What does it really mean to be seen, and when is it okay not to be? Hello everyone, I'm Nadia Azmi and you're watching another episode of Women Talk. Now today's topic is a really interesting one. Before we start, I just have some words to throw out to you out there. Success, visibility, legacy. These are words that we loosely throw, especially out there to women when we talk about leadership. And today's topic, we will delve into visibility. Everyone wants to be heard, everyone wants to be seen, but what does it really mean to be visible and to be out there? So in the studio, joining us are two remarkable women who have carved that path, not just by following the rules, but by rewriting their stories. On my left here, you have Jen Loh, founder and CEO of a homegrown modern jewelry label. She is a creative force and founder who continues to explore what it means to lead with purpose, vulnerability, and intention in both business and life. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Super excited to be here today.
Yes, love the colors that you're in as well.
Happy colors, a must.
Exactly, yes, for Women Talk, of course. And we also have Dr. Andrea Lim, a medical doctor and co-founder of a community-based, fitness-based network. She has actually left a medical career in the United Kingdom to build something closer to home, a wellness journey rooted in community, accessibility, and care. We are excited to find out about your story, Dr. Andrea. So, Dr. Andrea, first and foremost, in your journey from clinical medicine to now fitness entrepreneurship, did you ever feel the pressure to perform successfully, to perform, to become maybe someone else or to step into the character of someone else, but that didn't align, that didn't tally with what you really wanted? With what you really wanted to become?
Yeah. Well, yeah, when I first started working in hospitals, there was definitely unspoken expectations of your work hours, of your work ethic. And you're surrounded by some very brilliant individuals who are incredibly hardworking, and that pushes your boundaries and your standards of yourself, but also your limits. So it was really difficult because to manage expectations, you inevitably feel that you're letting your colleagues down or your team down. So it was definitely difficult in that sense. When I moved towards doing my own projects and my own business, I found that easier because I didn't have the weight of expectations on me and I could craft my own journey.
Do you think that's what pushed you to realign or to divert yourself into a new area, a new field of profession?
I think at that point when I left, I didn't think that much about it, but with hindsight, I think that that could have been an underlying reason why I wanted to explore my own avenues.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy becoming a doctor, from when you're studying to become one up till the point where you are actually a certified doctor, it's a journey itself already over there. Now, with public perception, Jen, do you think, because you're out there, you're on social media, you have a following and everything, do you think that you are pressured to expect or to meet the expectations of public perceptions of what they see, what a woman should look like?
That's such a great question. I do think that society expects a lot more from women, especially I am a working mom. I have two little kids under the age of 8. But I think what they don't teach you in school, which I absolutely would advocate for, especially when I've got a young daughter that's growing up and observing everything I do, I think actually that the first relationship you need to honor most is with yourself. When you can have a very purpose-led, authentic, honest conversation with yourself as to why you're doing something, how you want to respond, have a little value system that's true to you, then and everything sort of radiates from that. A lot of decisions and choices automatically flow, and then social media is just one aspect of your whole life.
So that's what it means to do everything with intention. Dr. Andrea, are you active on social media, firstly?
To a certain extent. Not as active as some people are, but I have a presence. I maintain a presence, yes.
Do you feel that need to look a certain way?
I think there's definitely a certain type of content that will garner a lot more attention. And I think especially with young people, that's what you're inclined to post only because that's what you get your dopamine hit from.
Yeah.
You know, you get your likes and your attention and your comments. But whether that's right for you and whether that's truly how you want to be portrayed, I think it's worth really thinking about and having a strategy as to how you want to portray yourself, because this will stay on your record in a way.
So it's okay, you know, to create that digital footprint for yourself, and it's okay to show people about your life and everything. But I think, you know, it has to be in the right measurements.
I think so.
And with the right intention, again. Yes. Okay, we have more questions, of course, to ask the both of you, especially when things don't go your way. What do you do? We will get to know you more about that after the break, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Women Talk, where we are talking about the art of being seen. Now, when we often think about leadership when it comes to women, that the loudest voice in the room is the most powerful one. We want to see who is at the front of the stage, who is out there at the podium. But what about quiet leadership? What is the weight or the impact that quiet leadership can carry with it? Now, we want to ask Dr. Andrea and also Jen. Just now we were talking about what you want to portray yourselves out there to people, especially being on social media and so forth. But then what happens when there comes a time when suddenly you feel this is not the image that I want to portray or show the people, I need to evolve maybe. Do you take that step, or do you feel it's risky?
I think recalibration is a really important thing. I once heard this really great saying, which is that you are not a tree, you can move, right? And I think the great thing about being human and living life to your fullest potential is embracing it and being able to meet yourself at your fullest potential. And I think we're really hard on ourselves as women, but we need to actually give ourselves more compassion and permission within our own female communities to redefine what success means at that point. Maybe at times, success is 100% pushing your career. You know, for example, a month ago, we just opened a new store in New York, and I had to be away for 3 weeks plus for my children. But now my husband is away for 2 weeks in South America, really far away, and I'm holding the fort at home. And I've been more active with the children at the end of school term. So I think giving yourself permission to ebb and flow, like water. I'm very inspired by the concept of water. If you look in Australia, the Great Ocean Road, like water has shaped rocks. Water allows so much, but it is the softest, most malleable fluid material. You can pour it into this mug, into a vase, it will adapt.
Exactly.
And I think what's amazing about being female, which I'm sure both of you will agree, is that we're absolutely really, really adaptable. We have way less ego. We are better listeners. We care.
In other words, we also have to be flexible. You know, things change around us, so we have to be able to manage and deal with those changes constantly.
For me, I am always open to sharing what's good and what's bad, but I'm also a big fan of being present. So if something's not going quite right at home or at work, I will not prioritize filming it and vlogging about it within 24 hours. I prioritize being there with my team, with my family, with my parents, with my partner, and then maybe talking about it in 2 weeks' time.
I think there's no right or wrong, because everyone has a different definition of what visible is, and also the level of privacy that they want. You know, it differs with each individual. Dr. Andrea, do you think that visibility always equates with power? The more visible, the more popular you are, the powerful you are, the louder you are. Do you think that's true?
I think there isn't one true answer for this. I think it works for some people, and I think it doesn't work for others. And I think that the most important thing is finding a style that you're comfortable with and resonates with you, and you can authentically carry out. And I think that will be the most impactful for that person.
But what about quiet leadership? Those who are our unsung heroes but are not being told, their stories are not being told out there. How impactful can that be, though?
I think it can be incredibly impactful. I personally have worked with many great leaders, male or female, who have a quieter brand of leadership, but you know, they lead with capability, with strength, and you know, I think they demand and command just as much respect from people as the louder ones do.
Yes. Now, both of you are bosses in your own fields, in your own businesses, so you have a team to manage. You have employees, so you need to model a leadership style that is visible enough. It has to be visible, not to the whole wide world, not to the public, but at least to your team, visible enough to inspire them, but still stay grounded and real. So what do you think about that? Is there a conflict, or what are your styles?
Okay, I think it's important to look at the person you're handling and what kind of leadership resonates with them. So it might be tough love. Some people can take it, and I think you can dish it out if they can, but some people might not resonate with that, and you know, you don't want to lose that connection. I think it's important to be comfortable you know, in the way you decide to conduct yourself. So whether that gets you labeled as A, B, or C, it shouldn't matter, you know, if that's what you're comfortable with.
Okay, okay. Interesting perspectives from the both of you. We'll dig more info from the both of you in regards to women leadership and what it means to be visible in that leadership sphere. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back on Women Talk. We have reached the final segment where we're talking about the art of being seen. We are talking to Jed and also Dr. Andrea about their visibility journey of becoming who they are and what they want to be in front of others. So I asked before about whether you think about being visible equates to power. Now, what about when you are dealing with investors, you're in a meeting with other bosses, with other industry players and so forth? Do you think that it's important for you to be seen in order to be taken seriously?
I think it's important to make your contributions felt and make your contributions impactful. And I think that's ultimately what will get you from point A to point B. Whether that's in a loud way or not, I don't think it's absolutely necessary. But having your impact felt, I think, is a good way of doing it.
Do you think there's a need to be very vocal?
I think that in a lot of settings, being vocal definitely does help. But I also think that there are more than one ways to skin a cat. You know, there are more ways of getting yourselves and your contributions out there than just being vocal.
In this age of oversharing, when we say being seen, when is it okay not to be seen? For you, you don't want to show every bit of your life, right? So when do you think is it okay to step back and just be private and reserved for a moment?
I really enjoy what you shared, Andrea, which is about what feels true to you, because I'm friends with a lot of creators, even founders, who really enjoy and are living their best life by sharing every detail. They get energy from that. And one of the things I coach in my team is learning yourself and what gives you more energy. There's a big study now about not just managing your time and time blocking, but also energy blocking. And depending on your personality, for some people, sharing a lot like drives them to the next step. And for some people, it takes a lot for them to share, right? So I think first and foremost, learning yourself. I know I'm saying a lot of that, but I think we don't do enough work, you know, generationally at work to train up that next generation to allow themselves to meet themselves where they're at whilst grooming their skills and leveling them up. And I think if you're trying to mimic someone else, you're going to fail 1,000 ways, somewhere along the path, because you know, you were made to be you, not someone else. So you have to unlearn and relearn yourself. In terms of social media and visibility, I think that, you know, always share from a place of substance. I do worry when I look, you know, on socials. I think substance is lacking these days. People are speaking often for the sake of speaking. And with ChatGPT and AI, there's a rise of a lot of surface. Like you shared earlier, where it's like, I just want to be seen all the time and I want to be the loudest voice, or like, whereas I think there is nothing wrong to sit in substance and to only speak when you have something meaningful to say, so that everyone can be part of your safe space and there are just a lot less egos and a lot more focus, you know, with wars, with a lot of disruption in global economies. I do think that humanity as a whole, we've never been more educated, but we've never been, you know, less unrestful.
I think if you really have an opinion and you feel strongly about it and you're trying to change something or bring change, then it is important to speak out and not be afraid to speak out. What you just touched on is also, I am also a big fan of, which you don't have to have an opinion all the time. And, you know, because having an opinion all the time is tiring. And if you don't have one, that's also okay. So I think it's just understanding, again, coming back to, you know, what Jen was saying. I know we seem to be saying this all episode, but sometimes yes, sometimes no. You know?
Sometimes we feel like just switching off our mobile phones, especially. We don't want to be seen or heard. We don't want anyone to be able to contact us. We want to hibernate and hide.
I think sometimes you have to disconnect to connect.
Interesting.
Because if you're just pushing yourself to the brink, burning yourself out, you know, that next interaction is going to be way less meaningful. And maybe you're attending 25 events a day, but what if you attended 10 and you listened and you paid attention? So I think, you know, the old age saying, which is like quality over quantity, in a day and a time where we lose focus after we watch a reel or a TikTok for 10 seconds. I think we need to go back to quality over quantity.
Okay. And when you want to guide other women, for instance, whether it's your team, whether it's other you know, women out there who look up to you, how do you want them, especially the younger ones, to own their presence without feeling burnt out?
Oh, wow. I think my personal way of doing this when I'm guiding someone, mentoring someone, would be just taking some time to really understand what motivates them. And then it's about crafting a journey that's purposeful for them and providing them with support along that journey.
But do you see that among the younger women especially, are they in a race to achieve stardom, to achieve popularity, to achieve fame? Do you think it's what's happening today?
I think it's something that's happening today that perhaps wasn't available 30 years ago because there was just no self-publishing platform. But with the availability of these platforms, I think that there's definitely some people out there.
I think it's a role that the ecosystem or the environment around us, that you know, the role that they play. Sometimes they acknowledge, they recognize, they award those who are more visible and out there at the fore, when there are many, many others, women who are really doing it for themselves, contributing to society, but are, you know, at the back bench.
I think it's hard because to quantify, because there are so many important industries. Like, I think that obviously, you know, fashion, film, media is right at the front, advertising, right at the front, and that's the layer that, you know, is most visible. And then COVID changed everything because suddenly there was a lot of attention on medical teams. You know, we started calling them the frontliners, but before this, the fashion runway was the frontline, you know, the fashion magazines. And I think as much as that is the case, I do see more and more recognition coming in the different pillars and the different industries, right? Whether it's F&B, whether it's agriculture, whether it's energy, clean energy. Like, my sister is in architecture and she lives in Australia, and there is a lot more awareness now about female architects, for example, because there was a small percentage, and that whilst we're now creating more general awareness, I would imagine when my daughter's an adult and working, like, there will be a new norm as to how to determine some of this attention, if that makes sense, because a lot of these platforms are still very, very new.
Yes. One last question before we wrap up this episode, very briefly to the both of you. To all the women out there watching Women Talk, no matter what their definition of being visible is, how do they stay visible without losing that spark or joy and also privacy along the way? Andrea, can we start with you?
Sure. I think that everyone should think very clearly about what they're comfortable with and stay true to that. try not to be influenced by the person next to you or some person that you happen to see on social media, because they might be doing it for completely different reasons. So identify what you want and what you're going after and stay true to that.
Awesome. And Jen?
For me, I think inner peace is really important. I think you need to be able to wake up and be happy with yourself and go to bed at night feeling happy with yourself and not have insomnia or anxiety or have poor mental health. So again, like, I think the best relationship to have is one first with yourself, and to clarify why you're doing what you're doing. Maybe it's likes, maybe it's fame, maybe that is what you want. But first and foremost, remember that your inner peace is not a price you should pay for fame.
There seems to be a common a theme in all of the Women Talk episodes, which is staying authentic. Staying authentic, staying true to yourself. Thank you very much, Dr. Andrea, and also to Jen for joining us on this episode about being visible, being out there, being seen. So thank you again, Dr. Andrea and Jen, for your honest and enriching conversations and stories. Now, to our audience members, thank you for spending time with us, especially throughout this incredible season. It is the finale episode. We hope to see you in the next new season. But until then, please continue to engage and connect with us on social media. You can find us on @Women Talk TV3 and TV3 Malaysia. So till then, take care, stay visible, stay true to yourself. Bye-bye, everyone.